The wreckage of the Kryn transport ship smoldered across the canyon floor. Its metallic hull twisted into grotesque shapes against the rust-colored sand of Helion 7. Leo crouched behind a cluster of rocks, his plasma rifle trained on the crash site. The war had raged for 3 years and every Kryn vessel was a legitimate target, yet something made him hesitate. A sound pierced through the settling dust, high-pitched, desperate, unmistakably a child's cry. Leo's jaw tightened. The Kryn had shown no mercy to human colonies. Entire settlements had been reduced to ash. His own brother had died on Proxima Station when the Kryn bombardment began. Every instinct screamed at him to walk away, to let the canyon claim whatever survivors remained in that burning wreck. But the crying continued. "Damn it," Leo muttered, slinging his rifle over his shoulder. He activated his environmental shield and approached the wreckage carefully, scanning for threats. The transport's hull had split open like a cracked egg, revealing the interior chambers. Bodies lay scattered, Kryn warriors in their distinctive chitinous armor, their insectoid features frozen in death. The crying grew louder. Leo climbed through a jagged opening, his boots crunching on broken glass and twisted metal. In what appeared to be a passenger compartment, he found the source. A Kryn child, no more than 4 cycles old by human estimation, trapped beneath a fallen support beam. The child's carapace was still soft, its coloring the pale blue of youth rather than the deep purple of adulthood. The child's 6 limbs flailed weakly and its compound eyes reflected terror. A gash across its thorax leaked the luminescent green fluid that served as Kryn blood. Leo stood frozen. This was the enemy. This child would grow up to become a warrior, to kill humans, to continue the cycle of violence. Walking away would be the logical choice, the safe choice. The child whimpered, and Leo saw his own nephew in those alien eyes. The same helplessness, the same desperate need for protection. "I'm going to regret this," Leo said to no one in particular. He engaged his exosuit's strength enhancers and lifted the beam enough for the child to crawl free. The Kryn youngling stared at him, mandibles clicking in what might have been confusion or fear. Leo pulled a medical kit from his pack and applied a universal coagulant to the wound. The child flinched but didn't resist. "Easy, kid. I'm not going to hurt you," Leo said softly, though he knew the child couldn't understand him. He checked the rest of the wreckage and found no other survivors. The child's guardian, likely its mother, based on the ornate markings on her armor, lay crushed beneath the ship's command console. Leo retrieved a small pendant from around the dead Kryn's neck and placed it in the child's trembling limb. As he carried the child out of the wreckage, Leo activated his emergency beacon and set it to the Kryn distress frequency. It was madness, potentially revealing his position to enemy forces, but he couldn't leave the child to die alone in the desert. He set the youngling down in the shade of the rocks, left a supply of water and ration packs compatible with Kryn biology, and retreated to a safe distance to wait. Within the hour, a Kryn scout ship descended from the sky. Leo watched through his scope as 3 Kryn warriors cautiously approached the child. One of them, taller than the others with elaborate armor that suggested high rank, scooped up the youngling with surprising gentleness. The child pointed toward where Leo had hidden, clicking rapidly. The tall Kryn stared in Leo's direction for a long moment, though he knew his camouflage should render him invisible at this distance. Then, in a gesture that transcended species, the warrior placed one limb over her chest in what could only be a salute of acknowledgement. Then they were gone, the scout ship rising into the amber sky. 2 months later, Leo found himself pinned down in the ruins of Firebase Echo. The Kryn offensive had been brutal and swift, overwhelming the human defenses in a matter of hours. He'd been separated from his unit, his ammunition nearly depleted, and his left leg badly burned from a plasma strike. 3 Kryn warriors advanced on his position, their weapons charged and ready. Leo raised his rifle with shaking hands, knowing he had perhaps 10 shots left. Not enough. Not nearly enough. The lead warrior suddenly stopped, raising a limb to halt the others. It approached slowly, weapon lowered. Leo's finger tightened on the trigger. The Kryn removed its helmet, revealing the face of a female warrior with distinctive markings, scars that formed a pattern across her carapace. She reached into a pouch on her armor and withdrew something, holding it up for Leo to see. It was the pendant, the same one he'd retrieved from the dead mother in the transport wreckage. The warrior, the child's actual mother, Leo realized with shock, spoke in halting but clear human standard. "You saved My daughter. When ship fell, when all died, you saved Zrikath. Leo lowered his rifle, stunned. You learned our language? To find you. To thank you. She gestured to the other warriors who reluctantly stood down. My daughter told us. Described you? Your armor. Your kindness. Her mandibles clicked in what Leo had learned was a Kryn smile. A human. Showed mercy. When mercy was extinct between our people. I couldn't leave her there, Leo said simply. The Kryn mother regarded him for a long moment. I am Commander Anaketh of the Third Fleet. I have hunted you for 2 cycles. Not for revenge. For this. She pressed the pendant into his hand. A life debt. Sacred to my people. You gave me back my daughter when you had every right to let her die. She turned to the other warriors and spoke in rapid Kryn. They argued briefly, their voices rising in agitation, but Anaketh's authority prevailed. Go, she told Leo. There is an evacuation point 2 kilometers northeast. I will tell my warriors I found only human dead here. But know this, Leo Chen of Earth. She spoke his name, which the child must have seen on his armor plate. What you did was not forgotten. When this war ends, and it will end, my people will remember there was a human who saw a child, not an enemy. Leo nodded, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. Perhaps, Anaketh continued, her voice softening, there is hope yet. If both sides can remember that the enemy bleeds the same, that their children cry the same. She replaced her helmet and rejoined her warriors, leading them away from Leo's hiding spot. As he limped toward the evacuation point, Leo looked down at the pendant in his palm, an alien artifact that represented perhaps the first fragile bridge between 2 warring species. In the distance, he could hear the sounds of battle continuing, but for the first time in 3 years, Leo allowed himself to believe that peace might be possible. All because a human soldier had chosen compassion over hatred, and an alien mother had chosen gratitude over vengeance. The war would continue for another year before the ceasefire was finally signed. But historians would later point to this moment, to the story of a human named Leo and a Kryn commander named Anaketh, as the turning point. The moment when both sides realized that their enemy was not so different after all. That humanity's greatest strength was not their weapons or their tactics, but their capacity for empathy, even in the darkest of times, and that sometimes the most courageous act of all was simply choosing to see the person, regardless of species, beyond the uniform.